Kyle's played a long time. Smart,
Guys, you have Zak
doesn't
Kuhr
require a
here.
lot of reps to get ready, but physical, tough. Like that's the reason he's been able to play so long.
32.
Yeah, he's taking advantage of it. Absolutely. Yeah. How we doing?
How you doing? Mike might have already covered this, but Tyrus Tonga,
Yep.
he was giving you a lot of praise, actually. I think it was last week, saying that kind of unlocked some things as a pass rusher from him. What have you seen from him as a pass rusher, and how did you kind of unlock those things from him?
Trust me, he's unlocked all of that stuff. Like so, I mean, the thing with Tonga, he's smart, he's physical, and he's taking advantage of his reps. I mean, there's things we emphasize as far as being able to rush the passer, and he's done them. I think that's the simple explanation. Like he's going to have his tools to be able to rush, and they're going to be different than a different players. But he's taken advantage of those reps and has done a great job of when he's in there. Like you can't just do one thing in the NFL. So he's been able to be stout against the run and then be able to affect the quarterback when it shows up.
How confident are you in this team's ability to generate a pass rush? You have different people all across the line. You can bring pressure in different places, but how do you see it materializing when the season starts?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see it every single day. Like they have to take advantage and show it in practice. You know, we can all talk about it, but we all see better than we hear about things happening. So, you know, the confidence comes with consistency. And I think the more consistently we do it in practice, then it'll continue to show up in preseason and then as we transition into the regular season. But it's just going to be, you know, if you have an opportunity to win, do it in practice, and you know then it'll continue to show.
Are you seeing the type of play with violence, type of front that you were hoping to see at the start?
Yeah, I mean, it's consistent, and it has to be consistent every day. You know, that's something that we talk about. It's unwavering, which means you don't get to pick and choose when to be violent. So, you know, we've done a great job in the players emphasizing and doing what we've talked about as coaches. So they've been outstanding. If we've emphasized something, it's shown up on tape.
I would imagine that the scheme is maybe among the most different for the defensive line, guys like Christian Barmore, Keon White. Have you seen them adapt to their scheme?
I'm not sure how different it is. I mean, you got lined up in a B gap, you're lined up in an A gap, you got to play blocks, be able to get off the blocks and tackle the ball. I mean, I think that's every scheme in the NFL. So, like I said, the things we've emphasized, it's shown up on video. And every guy is going to have a little different play style, but it all has to come back to the style that we want as the Patriots. So every guy may have a little different way to do the same job, but that's sort of what we emphasize. We may have different techniques, but it's all going to come back, and we need to get the same job done.
How much do you feel there is to clean up just going into this preseason finale?
I mean, there's stuff to clean up every day. I don't think it's specific to the preseason finale. Like every day, if there's something that we need to clean up, the first thing I'm going to make sure is that I covered it well enough. You know, so like I said, we make emphasis to the players, and they've done a great job this whole camp of making sure those corrections get made.
When it comes to defending screens, just what are some of the coaching points you guys give the D-line? Is that, I know you guys kind of want to get upfield and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, it's always going to be you just play what you see, and we got to put our foot in the ground, and like our effort is, you know, we're always going to be the extra hat to get there, but that just starts with, you know, our effort and being full tilt to the tackle. So that's the coaching point, right? We see screen, we got to put our foot in the ground and tackle the ball.
yeah, it seemed like Kevin O'Connell said that the second practice out in Minnesota, they like kind of adjusted some of the things that you guys were doing. Did you sort of see that, and like how do you like that in practice? You know, chess matches and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I think that happens at every practice. We're going to make adjustments. They're going to make adjustments. That's what we're here to do. You know, they're going to make things they need to fix, but I'm more focused on the things that we needed to fix. Like the only thing I care about when we turn on the tape are the things that we emphasize as a football team showing up.
What have you seen from Farmer? Just how his
He's done a good job. I mean, everything is about development with young players, and you know, he's taken advantage of the reps when he's been out there. And it's a transition for not just young players, but veteran players. Like, it's learning the way that we do things, but when he's been in there, he's taken advantage.
And apologies if you've been asked about Kyrus before, but he was telling us about, he felt like he just started to learn pass rush here in year 4 for him. What can you tell about what he's added to his toolbox and how you've approached that part of his game?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just using the skill set that he already had. He's a violent player. He's big. He's strong, and he plays as hard as anybody out there on the field. So, like I think somebody said, he's unlocked any improvements he's made has been because of the work he's put in. So he's done an outstanding job.
What do you remember about looking at him on tape before you guys signed him in free agency?
Again, we're looking for big, athletic, violent people, and he checked those boxes for us. And more important than what we saw on tape before is what we're seeing now. We're seeing those things show up on video for the Patriots, which is the important thing.
Going back to day 2 in Minnesota, I know not a great day for you guys, but it's easier for us to ask after the fact, like what were some of the things you thought might have been lacking for the things that normally are up to your standard on defense?
We talked about those as a defense, and we know what it needs to look like. Like, we completely understand when it's good enough and when it's not. So we address the things we needed to address, and then we move forward. Like, the corrections were made, and then we just got to continue to stack good days. That's really the only thing that we're in control of. Like, I'm worried about today. Last week in Minnesota, that could have been 1,000 years ago. So today is the most important day for the guys, and making sure that we come out and execute.
I got you. So for our context, we would love to be able to watch film in practice and be able to tell everyone, besides the one shot, that we get to look at it. So it's not, to pick at that. It's just to get better context, because obviously you're watching the film of that, and when someone asks us about, what happened in Minnesota, now's a chance to ask you. Better understanding.
Yeah, and again, like, the things that we emphasize when they don't show up, usually it's going to be a positive play for the offense. So just having your eyes in the right place, getting your hands on people, and then playing as hard as you can and being full tilt. That's always what it's going to be defensively.
How's your acclimation been to New England so far?
It's good. It's good. A lot more Dunkin' Donuts than I'm used to, but my family's enjoying it, so that's the biggest part. So it's been great.
Cool. But Andrew,
absolutely, Andrew. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Do it, learning a new system, and it's been for me a pleasure to get to coach.
You've seen Christian kind of out and about here ever since really camping. Is there any long term? Is he where he needs to be physically?
I mean, he's doing everything he can do to get back out here, and he's got a good plan with between Jim and Braves and Frank, and he'll be back as soon as he can be back.
We've seen Austin Carl kind of rotate in at times as he kind of ramps up a little bit in his own terms. What have you seen from him?
Same thing. I mean, he's got us getting back, doing everything he can to be full speed, and you can tell the veteran savvy, craftiness, played a lot of football. Interesting to have conversations with him about the way he sees things and the way that in the past that he's played versus whether it be different personnel, different teams, play callers. So he's been good for the room. He's the elder statesman. I call him Unc. He does not like that, so we've changed that to Big Bro.
What do you like about Alex Austin in the slot specifically? We've seen him there quite a bit.
To me, it's just increasing his value and increasing his role on the team. Braves talks all the time about earning a role, and I think for any outside corner, if you have slot value, then you're helping your team, you're helping yourself, and you add versatility.
Is there something to be said about it, having a little bit more size at that spot? Because I think we've heard in the past, Vrabel, big nickel, bigger slot corners.
Not necessarily to me. I mean, you look around the league, and the nickel position is really its own position, and guys come in all shapes and sizes. I was just in Indy with Kenny Moore, and from a body type, he's similar to Marcus Jones, but then you got Trent McDuffie, you got Jalen Ramsey. I mean, guys could be all different shapes, sizes. There's so much of that position that is instinct and experience based, and really, in my opinion, the only way you can truly develop those instincts is to be out there and do it. So he's gotten quality reps in there of getting to do that.
Sorry to come in late, but just how are you looking at that situation with your top 2 guys limited at best? Are you seeing that and basically pitching that as an opportunity for
you hear Braves say all the time, next man up. And as things happen, and it's happened during practice and out of practice, it's the next guy that's ready to go, getting out there and showing that you've been prepared and that you're ready to take advantage of whatever opportunity you get.
How do you feel the group has responded to that challenge?
I think good. I think the one that really hurt all of us was losing Marcellus. He's just such a good spirit and such a great addition or a piece in the room, and everybody loves being around him. That hurt for all of us, but it's been a group of guys that they're eager to learn and they're eager to do things the way that it's being coached to do. And they also, in some cases, have some experience prior to us being here that, we're able to listen to what they've done or maybe what they've been coached and have conversations that I think are interesting as well, just to hear it from a different perspective.
Sorry you've been asked about Christian already, coming in a little bit late, but obviously he has been able to play. Has he done anything behind the scenes that has opened your eyes as to, how impressive he is or why he's been as successful as he's been this early in his career?
For all the media people and fans out there, don't let the quiet, soft-spoken fool you. Like, he has a great sense of humor. He's quick to pull jokes on people, and he's very smart. That's what I've been impressed by, is that just in conversations with him, the type of questions that he asks and the things that he's expecting from a coach, to me, are the things that you want at this level, where he's still learning, and he's still got plays. He's not played for a lot, but you can tell that he's a student of the game, and it's very important to him to know the nuances.
Appreciate it.
The thing about KC, he's smart. He's a vet. He's seen it. Loves the game of football. Just the way he works, the way he prepares. He's one of these guys when you talk about some stuff, and he gets it pretty quick. But a lot of these guys you get, free agency and get them on one-year deals and stuff like that. They got something to prove. And I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. And getting a home and being somewhere is a big thing for him. But yeah, like you said, he's playing well.
Mike, what have you seen from him that you saw on tape before you guys signed him that's still true today? And what's something he might have added or has been new to you about
Sure.
KC?
It's a great question. We actually talked about it the other day. I like finding those guys, those crazy guys. Za'Darius, when he was in Baltimore, maybe I didn't play as much, but one thing I saw from KC when I got him, he asked me, so why'd you mix in more power rushers than you did, the year before the Raiders? And, to me, when we won't spend this time talking about pass rush, but, I thought Von Miller had a great clip the other day. He came out and said, everybody wants to see all this ghost stuff and show these highlights. Where out of 120 big sacks, about 100 of them came off some kind of power element and setting up off of that. So I saw that. I saw the athleticism. I saw, how he plays, how physical he is. And, saying going back to what we talked about the other day is we get guys that sit, how violent he is. There's nothing pretty about pass rush. Nothing pretty about it. You can watch Max Crosby, you can watch Nick Bosa, you can watch Darius, any of these guys. They're violent human beings. And so just building stuff off of that. But you could put the tape on and see how athletic this kid is. You can find some gold, some guys like that in free agency and stuff like that can help.
Seems like Braden Swenson's had a lot of success with power as well. I'm curious, what have you seen from his growth so far since he's gotten to the team?
That's why he's here. I keep in mind, when you watch him in college, he's a violent human being. And once you establish that in all aspects of football, but going back to the pass rush, just getting these guys to sit and lean. A lot of guys, offensive linemen these days, started about 7 years ago. They don't shoot their hands. They give you your chest. They don't think that when they're going to power. They think consistency. My grandfather used to say, this was a weak-minded place. If it wasn't for that, we had an opportunity to be successful. So these guys, think about the guys like used to coach Sean and all that stuff. See guys like that, we're going to make you sit. If you're not, it's going to be a long day, and we will continue to go into power until you do. And so that's what I love about ISO. Now, once they get that concept of pass rush, it's like, now how can we build off it? Is it our in and outs? Is it our ghosts showing them to make him lean and spinning back in? Hutchinson's got to spin off of his long arm. He's got to spin off of his ghost. He's got to spin off of his bull. That's, when you watch these guys and your mind expands to that and opens up, you see why these guys are successful at what they do. But ISO's here for a reason. It's because of how violent he is.
Mike has talked about approaching pass rush like a pitcher. You got 3-4 pitches, you want to mix them in, but not do too many. What about that can you speak to? And are guys trying to identify those before week 1, 3-4 they want to stick with?
Yeah, I mean, each rusher is different in how you approach each rusher and how you're going to set up your movement. You're exactly right. Like, we consider ourselves pitchers and offensive linemen hitters. Our approach all looks the same. And so when you watch guys work their move on the edge, they don't give away what they're about to do. So when I get to that fight zone we talked about just a second ago, they don't know what's coming. And it might be something different from Harold to KC to Keon.
but when we come to that fight zone, we don't widen our rush, we don't bow, we don't straighten up. We got our spot that we're going to. It's something as simple as that. Exactly right. There's so many tells you can watch guys when you rush and try to watch everybody around the league. You have a pretty good sense of what's coming just because of his alignment, or he switches his feet, or stuff like that. So we try to make everything look the same.
So what have you been working with when it comes to Keon the most? It's a guy who seems like he's got all the physical ability in the world, and these last couple of seasons has been able to really consistently put it together. So what's the key for him, in your opinion?
Having a home. You know, he's bounced inside, he's bounced outside, he's going back inside. He's got a different coach this year, different coach last year. Because the thing about the edge, and not going back to the guys I've coached, but it's the same thing when Zarius came, or Rashawn, or Preston, or Tom, but these guys that just stay in one spot on the edge. Because what do they do these days, offenses? They affect the edge by the influence bonds, by the zone reads. You know, there are just so many different looks they get. And just Keon being in one spot is going to benefit him so much, because he's another kid that is extremely violent human being. Offensive linemen know when he's in. We were playing last week, being in Minnesota, the offensive line coach, telling him, I was walking with Brian O'Neill before the game. Everybody's giving me a hard time, but he walked up and said, all right, let's get started. Tell me what you thought of me. And tell me now. I was like, what do you think about these guys? And he said, the first thing that started in that meeting is, you know that Coach Smith's going to have these guys want you to sit. Right? They're going to come and be so he's going to be violent. And so when you see Keon, you see a massive human being coming at you, and you're going to sit back and you're going to give me your chest. It's not going to take long. I mean, you got in the fight, you let him punch you twice in the face. You're probably going to stick your hands up after that and get him to shoot your hands. So that's one thing I love about Keon. It's just physical. Probably one of the smartest kids I've ever had in a room, and just loves football. He's eager to learn. Just every day is something special with him. Now, he's got a ways to go. I shouldn't say a ways, but he's got some learning still to continue to do. And he's starting to see that now with going into Washington and seeing all this stuff and reading these arcs and everybody doing this, then going back to a normal offense. And you know how Minnesota will influence you with receivers on the edge now, and just all these different looks where he's continuing to learn. But like I said from the beginning, that kid, when it all comes together, you better watch out.
Keon's mentioned how a big part of working with you that's helped him is that you've given him a plan and like a thought process when he's rushing. Can you kind of explain that to us and what that process looks like, maybe?
Yeah, it's just, you know, making everything look the same off our steps. Like, you have to have a plan when you rush. You don't just go into a rush and say, all right, in the middle of the rush, I'm going to do this. Right? You have a pre-snap plan. Now that could change depending on how he sets. If he jumps me, his hands are high, or if he's low, like that changes. But we have a plan. And like we said earlier about setting up rushes. We're like most great rushes is an element of something that happened before that. You know, what did I do before this guy to set up this move, right? And that's when you see these great rushers you watch. They have plans throughout the whole game, you know. And so it's just that before practice, working our steps and our hands, make sure our hands are in the right place when we're swiping, and learning just how to set up. It's probably one of the hardest things to teach a young guy, and even sometimes some older guys, of setting up moves. And just having a plan when we go before this practice, right? This is what we're going to work. We get some inside stuff now. Our steps might be a little bit different because we're quicker inside. You know, are you going to be a ball foot up guy or ball foot back doing this, right? We do both to mix it up so it's not a tell. And so it's that stuff that you see even with older guys that I work with before practice. You know, I saw a clip with Hutchinson the other day, and he was walking through his steps on his spin, right? It's just getting those mental reps and just keep walking through it and just having a plan before I get out there.
Mike, you've worked for a few different head coaches in your time in the league. What has been different, or what stood out to you about working for Vrabel?
Yeah, I love working for him. Just he's involved in everything. You know, everybody talks about on the practice field, he's got this shield on. He's going to help me today in individuals. And, you know, all the great coaches I've worked for, they might be different, but they have something in common. Like, he's very similar to Andy Reid. You know, Andy might not get out there and put that stuff on, and he might not yell as much, but how they both are very clear in their plan. Like, there's no gray area. You know, Coach Reed just leaving meetings saying, does everybody know where we're at and where we're going? And that's the thing with Vrabel, to the schedule, to practice, to everybody's individual. There's no gray area. And it's great as a coach. You know exactly how he feels on something. You know, like, I just respect that part. There's no hidden agenda or none of that kind of stuff. It's what he is. What you see is what you get from Mike Vrabel, and so I love that.
Did you do a double take the first time you put the shield on, or what was your reaction?
Yeah, well, I like to get in with my guys, but usually not in the run stuff like that. I like to do the pass rush stuff, get the stuff, but I start seeing him doing the run. It makes me feel bad as a coach. I'm like, all right, give me that damn thing. You know, you're making me look bad. And so I was, you know, it doesn't shock me. I've known him a long time. and that's just kind of how he is. I saw him before the Minnesota game, him and Barmore. He's just rocking him. I mean, just hitting him. But he just loves the game of football, like most of us do.
Elijah Ponder doesn't really look like the typical UDFA. The guy's like getting chipped multiple times and still affecting the quarterback. What traits did you like about him coming out, and how have you seen him progress this summer?
Same thing with ISO. Think about, and I'm fired up about that kid. I mean, he's got a vet. He's got a vet feel to him. Another guy, I mean, just last game, something simple as you look at a rush when you got chipped. But usually when you get chipped, the tackle's sitting back and he's waiting on you. The tackle set at 4 yards, which our decision point. But he did something simple as an in and out and replaced his step, picked up the towel. Like, just like that. No wasted movement. I mean, it just gave me goosebumps. But like watching him come out, because he wasn't a guy that nobody was looking at. But if you look at his athletic ability, it's off the charts. He's a big rusher. He moves great in space. He's not scared to go put his face right down the middle of it. You saw in the game. But like, he's got this very rare ability of picking up things quick and look like he's done it from day one. It's just remarkable. That kid is another one that has an extremely bright future. Probably one of the best free agents I've ever seen. So I'll go ahead and throw that out there. He's got a ways to go though. Don't get that twisted. But his movement ability and his knowledge and how smart he is and how fast he picks up things is remarkable. He absolutely. I actually don't put that out there. Just appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thanks.
Just your thoughts on what you've seen so far through this part of camp with your safeties?
Yeah, so I think that obviously with camp, you implement the initial install, and then you look for the details, the fundamentals to continue to improve, right? Once you install for the first 5-6 days, have the bulk of what you got in, and now you're looking for the daily improvement of the details and fundamentals. The other thing is we're looking to take the ball away, being able to be disruptive with the ball. I feel like for the most part, we've been able to do those things. Obviously, there's definitely improvements on all levels, but I think we're trending in a positive direction.
What have you seen from Kyle Duggar from the beginning of camp to now, where he's, we saw him the other day with the pick in the end zone and everything else. What have you seen from his development, getting used to a new system too?
Yeah. So obviously beginning, coming off of his injury last year, so working his way in through reps, and then, as he's gotten more reps and been able to, continue to be out there, different combinations of guys, all that type of stuff. There's been some improvement with that, and, excited about all the guys, and Kyle in particular, just, again, his improvement. Got to take away last game, and again, whenever we can take the ball away, I think that's a good thing.
What have you seen from Jalen Hawkins so far? It seems like he's getting more opportunities on defense than we saw from him last year and in the past.
Yeah, so, Jalen's done a great job of communicating. He's done a great job of taking advantage of his opportunities. Again, getting a couple ball disruptions, putting us in good positions, and, being able to play some man-to-man tight, sticky coverage on some tight ends. So, he's done a good job of taking advantage of those opportunities when he's been able to get them.
With Jabril Peppers, how are you seeing his leadership on and off the field?
Yeah.
Because obviously we see a little bit more of on rather than off.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's always like that vocal guy.
He is, yeah. No, it's great to have a guy like him, a veteran that's been around multiple systems, and a guy that brings a lot of energy, a lot of vocal, but also he's a good mentor to some younger guys, pulls them aside, talks to them, and so really have enjoyed Pep being around the group.
Do you see free safety position, strong safety position being distinctive, or does everyone kind of fit in the same safety mold?
Yeah. So not trying to get too much into schemes, I'll say this. I think that with that safety position, we look for a guy to have a diverse skill set, to be able to play in the box, to be able to play deep, to be able to play man-to-man coverage. That's what we're looking for with the skill set. Obviously, getting into the specifics of strong safety, free safety, probably not going to get into that too much.
Did you see Craig Woodson, the 6 years, help him at Cal? He seems to be a mature kid for just a rookie.
Yeah, obviously, his ability to be able to play college football, I think, for 4 or 5 years instead of some of the guys, and at the same place. Some guys bounce around, all that type of stuff, have to learn a new system. So he was able to do that. So that's a testament to him, and then the program at Cal to be able to get him ready. They've obviously had some solid DBs come out and be productive in the NFL. But then just to him and his skill set, obviously as a rookie, going to make some mistakes here and there. But what we'd like to see is that, one mistake doesn't turn into two mistakes, doesn't turn into three mistakes. And he's been able to, limit those multiple mistakes in a row.
What is it about his game that stood out to you the most since he's come here?
Yeah, I think that, we put a lot on our safeties communication-wise, pre-snap, being able to adjust to all these motions. The NFL now has become a huge pre-snap motion, pre-snap adjustment, and the safeties are the communicators of those. So his ability to be able to communicate that and to get people lined up correctly. Again, he's not perfect at it, but he's been doing a good job. And then also the ability post-snap to be in the right position when we've asked him to cover man-to-man, been solid in those responsibilities. And, again, just being able to be in the right place at the right time.
Del Pettis. Ryan's going to go next. Great. Second-handing him as a veteran, or is it sort of like learning it all over again because it's a new system? Curious.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him. I would say this. We take it as coaches as we install it like it's everybody's first time, because it is everybody's first time. So we don't take for granted that, Pep or Kyle have been in the NFL for a long time. We want to make sure that we start at ground zero with everybody and, build this thing from the ground up. So with the communication and everything, we look at everybody as having the ground zero communication and building it up. And we've been doing that since OTAs.
Del Pettis came here last year as UDFA, was able to carve out a role. I know you weren't here last year, but just what have you seen from him from when you first got here?
Yeah. So Del really does a good job. He's very attentive in meetings. He does a good job taking the meetings and then being able to potentially, play. He did a couple of different positions last year, and position versatility is something that we like about Del. He also has shown the ability in some one-on-one matchups to do some things in man coverage. So like Del, like his skill set. And again, with him being just a second-year guy, it's just about getting comfortable with this NFL game, with the NFL speed, with all those pre-check motions. And then with him as well, right? Rookie year, had one system. Now he's in a second system. So again, it's ground zero for him, his learning curve as well.
I know it's only the preseason, but I've seen you guys play a little bit more quarters than what we're used to around here.
Okay.
Just generally speaking, what do you like about quarters coverage? And just I know you don't want to give much away, so I just want to keep it general.
Yeah, no. I think for us, what you see is that we like to mix our coverages, right? We don't want to stay all in a single high defense, and we don't want to stay all in a two high defense. So we're trying to make sure that we give the quarterback different looks, the offensive coordinator different looks. And so, if that is two high quarters, if that is two high cover two, we feel like all those things within a game can be to our advantage to be able to use those. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah, and just given your background and Terrell's background, just how much do you guys work together to kind of put coverage and rush together on it? Yeah.
A lot. We're all of us on the defensive staff. It's not just me and Terrell. It's myself. It's Justin Hamilton. It's Zak Kuhr, Kevin Richardson. It's all of us, trying to get in there and help the rush and coverage work together. Because if the rush is doing something but it's not coordinated with the coverage, won't be successful. If the coverage doing something not coordinated with the rush, not going to be successful. So we try and always get in there, make sure we're on the same page. It takes some time, obviously, and that's what we're working for.
All right, this one, we might talk to you, we might not, before week one. So I'm just going to ask it.
Okay.
Brock Bowers coming in here week one. Just what do you guys see out of him? And, what's the plan?
Yeah. Definitely not going to say anything about the plan. And honestly, last year where I was at, we didn't play the Raiders. So I haven't, done a deep dive study into Brock. But obviously, tremendous rookie season last year and a tremendous player. That's really all I know about him. We're going to face great tight ends, not only him, but throughout the entire year. And we're going to have to be able to play them effectively, be on body, and not allow them to catch the ball. But yeah, Brock has seemingly done a great job, and obviously he's someone that is doing well in the NFL at the tight end position.
Today they kind of schemed up into your pressure a little bit. Is that something you noticed, and is that helpful to you guys, like to see what it's going to be like when a team game plans a little bit for you?
I mean, I don't know about schemed up, but yeah, it's always good to face a different opponent and see a different flavor from a different team, and you can go into it kind of thinking like, hey, this is what the game plan is going to be. It kind of gives like a little mock game feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good experience.
What was your takeaway just overall from those 2 days of work with those guys and facing?
Great. It was great work. Yeah, great work. They're a very talented team. That was a great challenge for us. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think the guys did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Sophie, it's nice
Sophie,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sophie. Yeah.
I was just curious a little bit about looking back on how the spring went. Obviously, with Terrell, you kind of had stepped in a little bit. Just how that went for you and what your communication was like with Terrell during that time.
Was always on the same page with him. We talked every day. It was just like if he were here.
And for games, I've seen him kind of up top. What advantages does it have for him to be up top in those in games, kind of watching from down rather than on the sideline?
From being up there before, like you definitely get a full picture of the field that can help you kind of get a better view of what they're doing and kind of see the operation that they're running from their sideline as well.
Zach, nice job on the TV interview.
Oh, thank
really
you.
enjoyed it in the first preseason.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Good energy and I felt it. You know?
Yeah.
So I want to ask about Vrabel, just your background with Vrabel.
Yeah.
Just sort of like watching what he's brought to this organization. From someone who's on the inside, how would you describe like what he's building?
I think he's pretty good at setting the tone of a team that he wants, a play style that he wants, and he hammers it every day. I think he sets high standards and expectations, which I think the guys like. He pushes guys well, and he does a good job of everybody being on the same page, understanding what the plan is that day, and everybody moving the same direction, which is you always want to have.
How would you describe his energy?
Always high. Come to the building with high energy. Be prepared for it.
The bloody cheek was something that we got a bang out of when he jumped into the scrum
Okay.
of Commander's practice.
Yeah.
Travion was doing the blitz pickup.
Gotcha.
He ended up on the ground. He ends up in there. He's got a cut on his cheek.
Yeah.
Don't know if you saw it or.
No, I was on the other field. Yeah, I didn't get a witness. Yeah.
I don't know, so maybe not the fair question to you, but how reflective of that taking place is that for you?
I mean, I didn't see it, so I don't know if I have really much to say about it.
Fair.
Yeah.
We were asking about Vrabel, but I'm just curious. Like he throws the pads on, he's involved. What does that say about his coaching technique? That he's just kind of willing to throw a pad on, go to the line. He's willing to put a penny on, play with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean the guys like it. See, he gets in the middle of stuff too, but also there's a standard for the technique, so he's right there to be able to. He feels the punch, he feels the technique, and he can correct it right then and there.
Zach,
ask you a little bit about the scheme. We're used to seeing Mike play, Bill 3-4, and outside linebacker. You guys, coaching staff, come from such a wide array of coaching backgrounds. Could you say what the roots of this defensive scheme that you guys have kind of put together with all of your different backgrounds?
Yeah, I won't get into scheme, but we like to always try to be versatile. Like everything we do with the players, everything. Yep.
Maybe just following up on Mike.
Yeah.
You were with him in Tennessee.
Yep.
Let's say all of us grow through our experience. If there was something that you notice here that maybe was different than what you saw in Tennessee, or growth, or anything that stands out other than his grade?
I got a few grades now too.
Likewise.
No, I mean, he's a very consistent person, so I wouldn't say a lot has changed. Like I said, there's always an expectation that he sets, and he sticks to it. He brings the same energy, he's the same person day in, day out. That's kind of like what we ask our players to be. I know there's stuff going on in everybody's lives all the time, but try to be the same person day in, day out.
Thank you.
I know Jelani has been out here a lot, but what have you seen from him in meetings?
Great, fully engaged, great teammate, helping other guys in the room. I love Jelani in the meetings.
Jelani, so we watch not to get into scheme, but from what we've seen in the past, and he's sort of, they call him a joker, play off the line, but also go to the edge at times. In that scheme, how do you, I'm trying to ask it without making you get into scheme, like how versatile do you see his skill set in this scheme?
I think he's a very versatile player. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of guys like that too. Like I said, versatility gets you a long way in the league in anybody's career. So the more you can do, the longer you can stay, usually, whatever team it is in the NFL. But yeah, he's a very versatile player.
With Jelani, in the preseason, what are you seeing behind the scenes, or how important is it behind the scenes? Because obviously we're not seeing him on the field, so it's not like an accurate assessment with roster cuts coming up. How do you kind of what are you looking for maybe off the field that is just as important?
That he just puts in the same amount of work every day that everybody else does, and what he's doing.
How valuable is it for you as a coach? Obviously, you would never hope anything happens to anyone, but just as a learning experience, having some time to do 12 plays in the spring.
How was that good for me?
Yeah, like how did it help you? What did that do for you?
I mean, I don't know if it's done anything for me. If anything, just having to be in front of the whole unit helped me build some more relationships with guys outside of my position room, which I loved, which is always beneficial, getting to know those guys.
You guys haven't tackled to the ground much in practice, so I'm just curious, how do you guys go about coaching tackling if you're not really finishing?
Yeah, you always teach technique, you drill it. These preseason games are good for that stuff. But yeah, there's always a balance where you want to keep guys healthy, but also teach good technique.
Do you feel like from preseason game 1 to 2, you guys improved?
Absolutely, we did. Yeah, the missed tackles went down. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Vrabel brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go, Lutz. Yeah, the inside group.
Yeah.
I guess which I sort of associate with you. I don't know how much you do with Harold, KC, Calais, KC. But real quick.
Yeah.
We got Robert. We saw the 2 picks yesterday.
Yeah.
Christian, Jelani, we talked about the other day.
Yeah.
Dr. Gibby.
Yeah, Dr. Gibby. Yeah.
Monty.
Yeah.
And I don't need to pick on the spot.
Marte.
Like the totality of the group. How would you describe what you're getting?
Yeah, I think we have some good depth right now. I think it's very competitive. I think guys are continuously fighting for a role and competing. Even if a guy might feel like, I'll say it this way, they never feel like they're the guy. They're always working to achieve a role, whether it be a starter or a swing player, or whatever it may be. They come in day in, day out, and it's a very competitive group.
over there.
My
Justin
last
Hamilton
one,
over
your
here.
wife getting more acclimated from
Yes.
Florida.
She
That was a
is.
tough start. You did not have the best spring for you. But I felt we came back strong.
Yeah,
in the
summer's been good.
Summer was
Summer's
good.
been good. I
Came
think
back
she's
strong.
enjoyed it.
That's like a game. Sometimes you start, you get down
That's
early.
how you finish, right?
It's how you finish. We are in.
Now she's waiting for the winter to come, so we'll see.
We had a couple Florida days in there, I
We're
think 2
just
weeks
going
ago.
one day at a time.
That's right. Yeah, appreciate you. Yep. Yeah.